I built it too much, where I had a huge wait list for people that wanted to work with me. I had people that wanted to work with me that were not in California. And I'm like, what can I offer them? So that's when I kind of had the one-to-many of like, can I make style teachable? Can I turn this into a course? Can I turn this into an ebook? Can I turn this into a really useful video series?
Welcome to Empowerista, female entrepreneurs finding freedom and fulfillment in their life and career. I'm your host, Alex Wehrley, the founder and CEO of Empowerista, an award-winning producer and national TV host, seen on platforms like Business Rockstars, Entrepreneur.com, and Amazon Prime. I am so excited to share my candid conversations with successful women as they reveal the tips and truths they've learned on their entrepreneurial journey. My guest today, Lauren Messiah, is the most on-demand personal stylist in Los Angeles. She's known for helping her clients find themselves through style. Think personal development meets personal style. Named Google's Women to Watch on YouTube, Lauren Messiah has been featured in publications like Marie Claire, Vogue, the New York Times, the Huffington Post, and the Wall Street Journal for her style expertise. During our chat, she explains how she's gone from working with one-on-one clients to reaching the masses through video and digital products. Thanks for being here.
Oh, I'm so happy to be here.
Yeah, so fun to catch up with you and hear about how your brand has evolved. And I think that's a really good place to start because your brand really has evolved from being a stylist for one-on-one clients to now reaching many. So for those who aren't familiar with your journey, can you take us on it? Let us know how you've evolved over the years.
Yes, so I started my career doing celebrity styling and could not stand it. It was terrible.
Which a lot of people are like, that would be so cool.
Yeah, for me, not cool. For other people, yay.
Just because it was a lot of work keeping up with that high profile.
You know, I think it was the reward. You know, I think a lot of stylists get a reward of creating art or seeing their celebrity walk down the red carpet. Where me, I get fulfillment when I see a normal woman getting dressed up and being like, oh, I wore this dress and I met my husband, or I got the job, or I just felt really good that day. So I transitioned to working one-on-one with just the average woman, a business owner, a mom.
And her meaningful moments.
Exactly. Yeah. And I would help her dress for her everyday life because getting dressed is such a struggle for so many people. People who like it, they don't think about it as a struggle. Yeah. But even I'm sure you've had a meltdown in front of your closet before. Where
totally. Especially when it's something important and you're like, oh, I've got this really important meeting and I don't know how to put this together. Or you do put something on and you're like, I'm not feeling good in this.
You don't feel, your body doesn't feel good, the budget doesn't feel good. So I loved helping those women. So I would do that one-on-one in LA. If I traveled to New York for work, I'd style clients in New York. But it got to the point where I needed more clients because I needed more money. So I started marketing myself by creating videos on YouTube, just answering questions for average women. What do you wear with black skinny jeans? What do you, pair with a white t-shirt? Those are the types of questions.
The frequently asked questions. Yeah,
exactly.
Stuff that people are Googling anyways. You just made a video for it. People found you. And
there I am.
And then you were building your one-on-one business?
Building it, and I built it too much. I built it too much where I had a huge wait list for people that wanted to work with me. I had people that wanted to work with me that were not in California. And I'm like, what can I offer them? So that's when I kind of had the one-to-many of can I make style teachable? Can I turn this into a course? Can I turn this into an ebook? Can I turn this into a really useful video series? So I just started to experiment while I was still taking one-on-one clients. I'm like, this is so much better.
I don't have to be in person for this. Yeah.
I don't have to go to the mall for 8 hours a day and schlep around clothes. And you just can't scale a business if it's always going to take your one-on-one time. There was only so much I could charge based on the kind of customer that I wanted to help. So I'm like, there's a ceiling.
And I think that's a key moment for a lot of entrepreneurs when they go from more one-on-one service-based or maybe even a brick and mortar to being more digital is when they go, I can't grow anymore. I don't have any more time.
Right.
And in their trading time for money, and then there's this whole new world where it's oh, what if I actually package this into a digital product?
Yeah.
Whether it's an ebook or a course in your case, where then all of a sudden I can reach many women in all different time zones, which is what you decided to do.
And I think it's important too to like have the in-person experience, because I see a lot of aspiring stylists who are like, hey, could you just like, I get all these emails, can you just give me like the template you use to like make your thing? I'm like, no, it's not.
You're like, wait, you want me to just give you my product?
Right. Like, yeah, you could buy it and check that out. But it's like, there is no like, all you do is 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah.
I worked one-on-one in person for over a decade with clients to figure out like all the little nuances, like how my process works, how I can teach them to do it themselves, the obstacles they're going to run into, and create something that actually works. And it works better than in person, shockingly.
Yeah.
I've like replaced myself, which is amazing. But when the women can have that sense of accomplishment of like, wow, I don't have to be strung out on a stylist. I know how to pick out an outfit. I know how to evolve my wardrobe as I evolve. It's very powerful. So it's been great.
But I love that you said that chapter of having one-on-one clients was really important, because if someone's watching and listening right now and they're in the grind and they're doing that, it's got to be reassuring to know this is worth it. Like now, what would you tell that person to focus on right now as far as understanding maybe their process and what their client needs so that they can prepare for that next chapter of creating digital products?
So this is what I like tell, all the little girls that I mentor. I'm like, inspiration finds you working. So as you're working and you're doing the grind of the one-on-one, you're like, oh, this is the worst. Get inspired by those moments. Think about every single process you do and document it. So you don't just like, oh, how do I possibly turn this into this? Like break everything down into like a bite-sized chunk and then start testing it. Like I had people testing all of my processes before I ever put it together. So you get to use it as this kind of like investigatory type of thing where it's like, ooh, I'm doing this. What if I broke it down to these steps? Could my friend do it? Yes. Okay. Could I videotape that? Could I, test it on YouTube first? Can I put it in a course? So you just have to break everything down like you were teaching a 5-year-old.
Yeah. And you were already using content marketing to get your one-on-one clients, and then you basically got to take those same best practices to grow your online business. What have you taken with you to this new chapter, and what have you had to tweak?
So one of the things that I took with me, which it wasn't immediate, like when I was taking people from online, attracting them through YouTube, attracting them through the email list, I would do the standard, like a discovery call, like let's hop on the phone and I can pitch you, in-person services. But when I went from not doing in-person, I'm like, how can I recreate that intimacy and that customer journey? Because I'd taken so many phone calls, I know that the roller coaster and the song and dance that they go through of like, I don't know, maybe I could do this by myself. I could figure this out. I don't know, maybe it's expensive. Maybe I could use Lauren's help. So I'm like, how can I recreate that process for them so they can self-discover the fact that they're like, oh, I actually really need help with my style. So I created these challenges. I do in January a Style Awakening challenge, and in July I do a Love Your Body Style challenge. So I take the customer journey that I've experienced through working with, hundreds of customers, coupled with the obstacles that they run into before they need to pull the trigger to make a change.
Yeah, that's great. And I think a really key lesson in there is understanding your ideal client or ideal customer. And that's another one of the benefits that comes from working with them one-on-one is you hear them talk firsthand, personal experience all the time. So you know what their pain points are. You know what motivates them. You know what it is that they're looking for in a transformation. And so that helps you not only know what kind of content to create, how to speak to them and your promotional materials, ultimately what kind of product to make for them, right?
Exactly. So one of the challenges that I do, it's the Love Your Body Style Challenge, happens every July. We've already had 2. We'll have another one this coming July. But an obstacle I'd always get was like, I know I need to work on my style. I know I need to get a new wardrobe, but I'll just wait until I lose the weight. And it never happens. It never happens. It's just an excuse, and I'm always like a big cheerleader for dress the body that you have now so you you feel good. Like if
so you love it, yeah.
If you feel crappy because you're overweight and you're in crappy clothes, you're not going to feel inspired to show up for yourself and, eat right and exercise and do the things you need to do. So if you dress to the body you have now and love yourself now, then naturally magical things start to happen.
Yeah.
Weight drops off effortlessly. Your confidence skyrockets. So I'm like, okay, I got to take these women through a journey to make them love their bodies now so they'll be geared up to dress them.
Yeah, interesting.
And like, it totally worked. And it was like way more magical than I could ever imagine.
Yeah.
That it turned into just this idea. And then I had thousands of women in it. And I have this private Facebook group, and they're like going through this challenge together, and they're making friendships, and they're loving themselves, and they're having like these spiritual and emotional breakthroughs.
That's so cool. And that's got to feel amazing for you that you took them on this journey.
It feels great because even if they're not ready to go to the next level, because at the end of the challenge, there's always a next level for them, whether it's joining a course, whether it's joining my membership. And it's like, dude, if you want to keep this momentum going, come over here, let's party. Because if I gave you all that for free, imagine what you're going to get when you pay me, right?
Yeah.
And some of them come and some of them don't. And the ones that don't, they have this beautiful experience and they come back every year and they redo it. And it's so
okay
fun.
too, yeah. And I think as entrepreneurs, that's a lot of it. It's our job to take them on this journey and guide them to make a decision. And sometimes I know that people feel uncomfortable with sales because they think of it as like forcing somebody to make a decision.
Yes, yeah.
Nobody's forcing anybody to make a decision. Please do not do that.
Right.
But it's like guiding them and giving them the right tools and the right information to make the best decision for them. And sometimes you do have to remove certain barriers and provide certain information so that they're ready to make that best decision for them, right?
Oh, completely. I mean, if you think about any of like the major decisions that you've made in your life, usually the catalyst had to be like a lot of pain, a lot of trial and error, like wasted money, all of these things. So if you can help accelerate them to that point of decision, you're actually doing them
a service,
a favor.
Yeah, yeah.
Because like, I mean, I think of all the things that I've invested in, business coaches, mastermind groups, and all of the time where I'm like, no, nobody. I didn't even know that stuff existed. So I just struggle and try things and waste money. And someone's like, hey, have you ever like heard of going down this path?
Yeah.
Thank you. Where were you 5 years ago? Like, you have to help your customer get to that point. And then it's their choice. They can take it or leave it.
Yeah, yeah. So let's get in the weeds a little bit about kind of this customer journey. So from the time that they first see you, whether it's on YouTube or one of your social channels, to the point of purchase, can you take us on that journey, what that would look like?
So most people find me on YouTube. I've experimented a little bit with Facebook ads, although that's very recent. I've been completely organic up until then. But I just give them like a little general carrot, so they watch my YouTube video. I'm like, cool.
Educational in nature. You're teaching them something. You're answering a frequently asked question.
Yep. Teach them something, get friendly with them on video. That's been the best for me. Like back when I was blogging, like I couldn't make that connection. But the second I got on video, people are like, oh, you're my best friend who's like more stylish than me. You can help me. So give them educational content. Within that content, I will prompt them to download something for free. And I keep it super light and super general. It's my ultimate wardrobe checklist. It's just a list of everything that a woman should have in her wardrobe. Based on my personal experience, I used to just buy clothes because they were cute, and then I'd never wear them more than once, and I couldn't put outfits together. So I made this checklist for myself, and I'm like, cool, I'll give it to my audience, because any woman who puts clothes on her body is going to be like, I kind of want to know which ones to have.
Oh, totally.
So they get that download, and then they're put in my email funnel.
And real quick, backing up for a second.
Yeah.
So at the end of this educational video, you'll actually say on camera, oh, by the way, if you want this checklist, and the link is in the link is probably in the description section.
In the description.
So they click on it, they sign up to receive it, and then all of a sudden you have their email address.
Yep.
And then, then let's pick back up where you left off.
So email address, and I'll do like a series of 6 emails that are no sales. Like, I'm not asking for anything. And I definitely go against the conventional, like, how you should make a funnel, because I care way more about my customer and how they feel than me getting them to buy like a $12 ebook or something by the third email. So, I just go through the pain points with them in terms of like being frustrated in front of your closet, being frustrated with your body, being frustrated with not being able to find clothes that feel authentic to you, being a slave to what they're showing you on Instagram and feeling less than. So I just go through with really personal stories, videos that they can watch, downloads that they can have, just so they're like fueled and ready to go.
And you're giving them a ton of value. A
ton of value.
And you're removing those barriers that we were talking about a little bit to help guide them to whether or not they should make a decision for what's to come.
Yeah. And like, I don't know. I've worked with so many different companies in like online marketing, and I've taken so many courses where they're like, it's got to be like this. And I just, that doesn't work for me, and it doesn't work for my audience. So I'm like super raw, super transparent. I tell personal stories. Like, I want them to decide if they feel at home or not. And if they're not, like, bye, unsubscribe. But if they are, they're like, okay.
They want more.
So on one of the last emails that I do, I just lay out all the different options in which you could improve your style. Like, you could hire a one-on-one stylist. It won't be me because I don't do that anymore. You could take a course. You could join a membership. You could get a Stitch Fix. Like, I give them all the options, and not all the options lead back to me.
Interesting.
I don't even link any of the options.
Oh.
And I literally have people emailing back. They're like, oh, do you know of any style memberships? Because that sounds like that would be for me. I'm like, well, actually, I do. I have.
Interesting.
I have one of
you
my
don't
own.
even link to yours.
No.
So you just wait for the people who respond to the email.
In this beginning stage, yes. Like,
okay.
Later, they'll get emails that are going to like invite them to a free online workshop. In the workshop, I'll promote my membership.
Yeah.
But like, I just want people to feel comfortable, because what I've discovered through my audience is they're a lot like me, where it's like, you grew up and you never quite felt like you belonged. You feel less than, you feel insecure, you feel unsafe, especially when it comes to fashion, because all other fashion content is super intimidating.
Yeah, it can be more towards like the highbrow,
like
high-end
like perfect filters and Instagram girls and models and lots of money. And the women I'm working with are just like, regular old Renee, where she doesn't know. So I want them to feel super comfortable and safe, and that they can trust me, because they can.
Yeah, and that's like that's a whole nother road we could go down on how just because the market you're seeing and that the one that is seemingly successful and is glamorized, that's not necessarily the market that's best to go into. And and not to say that there isn't always room for new people in a saturated market, but there is opportunity, especially if that's where your passion is, to go to an untapped market. You might not be seeing the regular girl as much on Instagram, but it doesn't mean that she doesn't care and want to improve her style and wouldn't want a guide like you,
Yeah, so make them feel safe, and then I'll, work into the masterclass, which I just record from Facebook Live. Again, I totally just throw away all of the, like, what you should do with, like, a perfect webinar with slide deck, because they're just regular people who just want the fashionable friend that they've never had to be like, girl, do this. Here's the path. So I keep it super cash, just like Facebook Live style video.
Hey, super quick, if this episode is inspiring you, I'd be so very grateful if you did any or all of the following. Subscribe to the podcast, review the podcast, or take a screenshot of this episode and post it to your Instagram stories and tag @Empowerista so I can share your post. Your support seriously means so much and will allow me to continue making episodes. Lastly, if you'd like to read the key points from today's interview, head to empoweristapodcast.com for show notes. So is it a lot? Do you actually invite? Okay, so you don't invite them to attend live. This is like a workshop that you've recorded on Facebook Live.
It was recorded from live. Yeah.
Okay, and then you share it with them via email. And then at the end of the Facebook Live, are you inviting them to purchase something?
I invite them to purchase my membership. I have more expensive products, but I do those on a launch model, or I'll invite them later when they're further down the journey. But yeah, it's like a no-brainer membership, $37 a month. Although that's the founding members price. It will probably go up soon. But yeah, I just keep it like really simple. They can cancel anytime, join, like see if you like this world.
Yeah.
And once they're in the world, then they can go deeper if they so choose. But I have definitely a longer process in the ask where I think most people can get their customers to convert in like 7 days into a purchase, where mine take like 45 days. And I'm like, that's okay, because once they're in, it's magical.
Yeah.
It's like magic, and the transformations they have, and they're like really in the fold. I have them doing makeover videos with me, and they're taking things to the next level. So for me, it's all about building this
a relationship
community.
and community.
Exactly.
Well, yeah, and you're choosing the quality over quantity game.
Yeah.
And really taking the time to build the relationship, and then you're just kind of slowly inviting them to go deeper. Like, if you liked this, you might also like this.
Yeah.
And if you like that, you're really going to like this.
Right.
So that's really cool. It's a great way of just kind of organically guiding them through the journey.
Yeah, and it can be frustrating, like, as an entrepreneur, of course, because it's like, you know, you got metrics that you want to hit, you've got money that you want to make, but at the same time, it's like, you have to think about things, at least for me, like, in the long game. Like, I'm trying to be the Oprah of fashion over here, you know? So I'm not trying to, like, get a quick hit and, like, trick you into buying this course if it's not for you. Like, hang out, stay a while, because I'm going to be here for a long, long time.
Yeah, that's got to be really helpful to have a bigger vision that you're working towards, so you're not just taking shortcuts.
Yep, and I see a lot of online marketers doing that. You know, they'll make the shortcuts, and they'll be like, okay, now it's a $10,000 mastermind. Oh, psych, now it's like a $50 membership. All right, kidding. Now it's a $1,500 course. It's always like hopping to the next thing, and you don't build that trust, because the second the algorithm changes or the fad changes and nobody's into courses or memberships and it's something else, like, then where are you?
Yeah, that's a really good point. If you've built a brand and a relationship and trust, your audience will come with you wherever you go. So, I'm sure your membership will be thriving for a long time, but for whatever reason you ever decide to change your business model or it evolves, and naturally you're going to create more products, like, your audience will come with you. So that's kind of where the value is in a company, is having an audience more than anything else.
Completely. I mean, I recently got a book deal. My book comes out
congrats!
in fall 2020. But one of the reasons why the publisher was so excited is, like, because I've built a community of people that are loyal. Like, do I have 1 million Instagram followers? No, I do not. But the tribe that I have is like, where are we going? What are we doing next? You want me to buy a book? All right, let's get that book.
I love it. Well, it's the quality over quantity game.
Exactly.
And I think it's a niche audience. And I think the other thing too is a lot of times we get overly obsessed with Instagram followers.
Yep.
But I hear over and over entrepreneurs say, it's in the list for me. Is that your experience?
Oh, yeah.
Are you a huge list person? Like, that's where you build the relationship. That's where the sales happen.
Yeah. And like, you always need to build your list. Like, always need to build
an email list in case anyone's curious what we're talking about. Yeah.
Even though, like, I feel things have changed in terms of email, where, like, the open rates are definitely not what they used to be, and people are inundated with emails, and they're starting to catch on to, like, the catchy subject lines and, like, all the little tricks.
Yeah.
But, like, you still have to build that, because it's all you have that's just yours.
Yeah. Is
And
there anything else like the email list that you feel like, oh, this is something that I really pour a lot of time and energy into building, that is a good place for relationship building and ultimately sales conversions?
Right. I mean, like, anything social can change, but, like, for me, making video has been incredible, because the video that I invest in making, it goes on YouTube, it goes on IGTV, it goes on my IG feed, I post it on Facebook. I love doing live video, because I can download those and keep them.
Yep.
And I can upload them onto my website, which are there, and blog posts.
So you repurpose and get every little drop out of them.
So, like, those will never go away.
Yeah.
And even if YouTube, like, shut down tomorrow, I have all the videos. I can turn them into a course, because I have an email list in which I could sell the course to.
Yeah.
So video has been huge. And the email list for sure.
Awesome. And I know that you said that one of the hardest parts about being an entrepreneur is starting over and over again. What do you mean by that?
Well, I mean, I run 2 businesses now, a fashion school, which we used to do in-person classes, and the overhead was insane and it was exhausting. And we're like, cool, let's stop doing that. Let's go online,
So you basically took that curriculum and just made it for online.
Totally. And in person to doing a course and being like, cool, the course is cool, but let's just not nuke it because it still exists, but let's start a membership. And any new project you do is starting from zero. Yeah. And it always feels, at least to me, like startup mode. So I had this vision. I was vacationing in the Philippines. I was on some island. And I'm I really want to have this community of women who support themselves in regards to style, but in also just leveling up in life. So I had this vision for this community. I was should I build an app? I don't know. Oh, I'll build a membership. But it's literally starting over. Yeah. It's I had to build everything again.
Right, right, because it's pretty much a new business model. Yeah. So it might be under the same brand, it's the same audience, it's the same trust, that legwork, but it's still a new business model, and with that, new strategies, new operations.
Everything.
Yeah, so what has felt the newest and the most starting over part of it?
I think, part of my starting over, too, that I think feeds into that is when I was doing styling one-on-one, it was all about the clothes. When I made my first course, it was all about the clothes, but as I engaged with the community, they would get more curious on what am I doing in terms of personal development? I'm a self-help junkie. And I would talk more about the psychological side of style, and I'd interweave deep stuff, and my customers we want more of that.
And you gotta listen to them. Yeah. That feedback is priceless.
And that's what I love talking about. I interviewed old customers. So I'm thinking about building this membership. What more do you need? I'm thinking they're going to be talk more about trends and colors. Yeah. They're no, what do you do to get yourself together in the morning? You're so positive. Yeah. What books are you reading? So the membership turned into this totally different thing. So now my brand has gone from fashionista know-it-all to self-help meets style. Ooh. So it was definitely a starting over with how much do I reveal and talk about because it's very personal, how much is too weird, what space do I land in? Because when you're just in fashion, you're okay, let's target ads of people who follow these fashion blogs and let's do this thing. But when you're oh, the style is a byproduct of working on themselves and loving themselves. So how do I carve this new niche that doesn't exist?
Yeah, and make it tangible and tactical so that they can get a specific result. So I'm actually super curious because I love that stuff too. I love the psychological side of everything. Yeah. So how have you packaged that in a way that it's sellable, that they get a result at the end of the day?
Right. So for me, and I won't lie, it's been confusing. Yeah. It has been confusing because when it's something that's personal to you and inside of you, you're how do I even articulate this?
Yeah, sure.
And, you're working with these contractors that are used to doing a certain thing. Let's make the ads talk about, closet frustration. I'm no, they feel less than, how do you do that?
So it's emotional, yeah.
It's very confusing. So I actually started working with this woman, we're only a month in, but she's a branding expert. And I think it's difficult for entrepreneurs, especially when it's a personal brand, to be I know me, I know my customers, but to have someone else come in and see what you can't see. Yeah. So she was I poured over all your videos, and she's why are you sharing your quotes from Eleanor Roosevelt on your Instagram feed? She's here's 90 awesome quotes that you said. And I was I said that?
Oh, yeah. Interesting.
I was I didn't know I said that, all that cool stuff. She's yeah. And she's did you know that I followed this customer that you helped and she just got this killer promotion? I'm no, I didn't see that. I was too busy trying to build a membership and make a YouTube video. So having someone else see and get in touch with the results and get in touch with stuff that I'm just naturally saying, that I'm oh, that's pretty cool. So I've kind of repositioned myself more, I guess, like as an authority figure of just like a figure, you know?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, totally.
Oprah is just Oprah.
Yeah.
She's not like just talking about
Yeah.
her book club or like whatever the organic vegetable she's turning into a cauliflower pizza. She's just like this entity, you know, that really helps people.
But you know what she stands for. And
Exactly.
like, you know how you're going to feel after listening to her podcast, watching OWN. You like, so that's kind of the promise of like, how are they going to feel? What kind of more like emotional and psychological transformation are they going to get? And maybe you're telling it through the lens of fashion.
Exactly.
So you're carving out this unique niche because that's the avenue is through fashion, but you're very maybe specific on kind of that end result there.
Yeah. So having like someone else see it was really key. And like I had a bunch of my membership members over, the ones that were in Southern California. I was like, let's do some like mini makeovers for YouTube. And while I was upstairs changing, my videographers like just asking them some questions like, oh, why'd you join? How does Lauren help you? And I'm like listening back to the footage. I'm like, oh my God, I'm like really helping people. You know, so getting in touch with like the thing I thought I was helping them with, I helped them with something so much deeper. And like pulling that out and presenting that in the marketing, which is scary.
Yeah.
Because it's like, it's kind of weird.
Yeah, well, it's powerful to get to the core of things because really when you think about it, every single purchase, whether it's a product or service, is an emotional purchase. Like we think we're going to purchase this and it's going to give us confidence. We think we're going to purchase this and it's going to give us more worth, you know?
Yeah.
And unfortunately, some of it's very false. But I do think it's very true that fashion is this thing that when done and pursued correctly and it's a reflection of who we are and we're making decisions from that place, like that is what you get in exchange. So I think that's so wise to really tap into the psychology that exists, whether or not you acknowledge it or not.
Yeah. So I guess that's what I really mean by the starting over is like I'm starting like a new industry kind of, you know.
Yeah, you're leveling up to Oprah.
Oprah fashion right here. So it's just scary because you get those startup pains of like, oh my God, I'm spending money on what? I just posted this thing and it didn't work. Why aren't there more people? But it's like, oh yeah, I remember this is what entrepreneurship is.
And you have to be willing to do that. Like you don't get to get the wins without the losses. That's just the way it works. So you're going to have content that hits, but not without having the few that you tested first that didn't work, you know? So that's just part of the game. And the sooner you realize that, the better off you're going to be mentally.
I know. I was talking to one of my mentors and I was like, I'm like scared out of my mind. I'm like, I'm spending like, I want to hire this person, but like, where's the money come from? I'm really taking a risk. And she was like, did you forget that's what entrepreneurship is? Yeah. And I was like, yeah.
And it's almost like, oh yeah, everything's fine. Everything's normal. It's hard, but it's normal.
I mean, I've been doing this for over a decade and I've taken a business from like nothing to 7 figures. Yeah. And I was like, I thought I got to like rest. I'm like, oh no,
I got to coast.
Now I want to start over with this new thing and build it back up. So it's like, oh.
Yeah, and a lot of that's your drive and ambition, and so it's a beautiful thing, entrepreneurship, if it's for you.
Oh,
and how is it going now? Like now that you are, several months in, and you have seen the membership site come into fruition. How do you feel about it now?
It's it's so fun. It's so fun. Like I deliver new content every week. I go live. I speak to the members, and I just see their little posts. Like I read one driving in here as I was stopped at that horrible traffic scenario. But someone's like, oh, my coworker came up to me and said that my style is so much better and like that I've lost weight. And she's like, she wanted to know my secrets. Aww. And she said everyone in the office like gathered around and she was like telling them like how she's been working on herself. We have a little book club in there and we're like reading a new like self-help book every month. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like
that ripple effect is just
it's huge.
Amazing.
We do growth assignments every month where I make them do like deep psychological stuff, and all the women are so vulnerable and they're posting it. So like those are the moments where I'm like, how's it going? Like I have to tap into that where instead of being like, why don't I have 3,000 members yet? It's like, like no, I've got a couple hundred in there that are like really having profound life shifts, because I've had those shifts based on a book I read or a person I met or a group I was a part of that changed the course of my whole entire life. And to be able to like just log into the little Facebook group and be like, that lady had a shift because I thought of this crazy idea on the beach one day and actually did it.
Yeah, I think that's one of the most powerful things when you're feeling not enough or having a scarcity mindset or be like, oh, I haven't hit this number or whatever, is to bring it back down to earth for a second and realize that this is about people.
Yes.
And it's an honor just to positively impact one person, let alone a couple hundred that are a part of your membership community. And when you think of it in terms of people, real humans, where there's transformation, like that is so powerful and motivating and will help you get the next 100 and the next 100. And I really think when it's coming from that authentic place, like that's when things grow. You've already seen it. You have a 7-figure business. You know what I'm talking about. But like definitely a good reminder.
Yeah. So super grateful. New adventures. It's
awesome.
It's all good. It's all fun.
Well, congratulations on all of the continued success.
Thank you.
I'm excited to see what 2020 has in store for you with your book
Me
and
too.
everything fun coming up. So thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you.
Well, that's it for today's show. As a reminder, show notes are available at empoweristapodcast.com. And I'd be so grateful if you'd subscribe, review, or share this podcast. Thank you so much for listening and have an amazing week.